Okay, so boom! The scene kicks off with Obito slowly waking up in a random bed with his body restricted by bandages and an old wrinkly man standing over him. Now, in any other situation with this exact description, it would be completely understandable to cry and scream for help. A mysterious old man is standing over you while you're in bed unclothed with bandages all over you. Oh, nah, we know what went on here. You're a victim. But fortunately for Obito, this was not the case because the old man standing above him was not any regular old perverted civilian. It was the man, the myth, the legend, Madara Uchiha himself. But it is not the Madara of old. In fact, he is old as shit. I know he got on them oversized adult diapers as we speak. Bowel movements free as hell, just doing what they want, no Lil Uzi. But nonetheless, a goat is a goat, so we must respect him regardless of his age. Madara then begins to tell him that he saved him and patched him up after finding him buried under a bunch of rubble. So Obito obliviously thanks him for the favor. But Madara made sure he kept his thank you because this act was not out the kindness of his heart. Cause right after thanking him, Madara said,
"It's too early to thank me just yet. And besides, I still intend to have you repay your debt to me."
Hold on, how exactly do you expect him to repay you? Obito, just as confused as me, asked him if he needs help with bathroom stuff, and this nigga said,
That would be good.
Madara, I know you're not that helpless. What kind of kinky stuff do you got going on in this cave? On second thought, he actually might be a victim. Obito, now feeling slightly weirded out, tries to tell him that he has to go back to his village to go help his squad out. But Madara channels his inner Mr. Ruckus and destroys any ambitions that man had. Madara then begins to kill his joy even more by going on this depressing ass rant, telling him that this reality is hell and he plans on changing. But Obito's not with the negative vibes, so after hearing that depressing rant, he decides it's time to dip out and begins to wiggle and crawl his way towards the exit. He did not get very far though, because that boy was stopped dead in his tracks when Madara told him that he'll snatch that sharingan out his skull if he tries to leave. Obito only has one eye left, and he's not trying to learn how to read Braille anytime soon, so he sat his ass down and stayed put. We then fast forward a couple weeks and this man is still in the same bed, except this time he's accompanied by Tobi and White Zetsu. Tobi is over there looking like the Michelin man on a diet, clearly living on a diet of straight rats and rocks down there, while White Zetsu is looking like I don't even know what I'm looking at. The nigga looks like an aroused virus. Why is he making me itch? Regardless of their odd appearances, they over there are annoying him so bad that he doesn't even care if Madara takes his eye out. He's gotta get the fuck up out of there ASAP, no Rocky. So he tries to hobble his little cripple self away using the wall to support him, but he is still too weak. Now days turn into months, and as time continues to pass, Obito is slowly getting stronger and stronger, using the memory of his friends to fuel him. Hold on, I know this. Rewind that. Why does this man have a whole shrine of Rin in his room? No, this cannot be healthy. Look, he is trying to kiss a picture of her. Yeah, that brother is starving. Mind you, this is not even his girl. He got no holes, defective eyeballs, and a peer that outshines him in every way. What are you fighting so hard to get back to? Pain? Embarrassment? Help me understand. Slowly but surely, White Zetsu and Tobi begin to help him get stronger, and his white chest and arm are slowly beginning to fill out. Don't get me wrong, they definitely still need some work though. There is not a tricep in sight. Matter of fact, if your arm looks like this right now, don't lie. I'ma need you to drop down and give me 10, cause this is outrageous. Eventually, years go by, and as expected, this man is much stronger than when he started. His right side has now finally caught up to his left. His hair grew, legs grew, shorts grew, in bacterial quantities and stench. Nigga been wearing the same shorts for years in a cave with no way to wash them. I know those smell like cheeks and earring backs. But all that becomes irrelevant to Obito when White Zetsu pops in one day and tells him that Rin and Kakashi are completely alone and surrounded by hidden Miss Shinobi. So without a second thought, Obito jumped up out of his musty bed and ran to the exit blocked by a boulder. Then he proceeded to hit it with the most torqued up punch he could muster up. But sadly for him, after years of cooking, his arm was still not ready for a punch of that magnitude. So after absorbing all that contact, it partly turned to mush and dropped off his body. This trash ass prosthetic, how did it fall off that fast? Obito Obito, they are lying to you. Ain't no way these are Hashirama cells. Nigga got that shit from Temu. Go ahead and hit up Bucky's place. T'Challa hooked him up with the cleanest vibranium prosthetic I've ever seen. Toby, now filled with secondhand embarrassment, decides to help him out and offers Obito his body to wear. But before he could even accept the offer, this little kinky creature is already wrapped halfway around his body. So Obito reluctantly accepts his offer, and now he's basically got his own bootleg Jarvis at his service. He then gears up to punch the boulder again with the help of Toby in the tower, and this time the boulder came crumbling down like 6ix9ine's career.
He said, niggas hit me, feeling real dizzy,
So in a hurry, he tells Madara to suck his mom for keeping him trapped here, boom gangs one of his robes, then heads into the forest. Now, Obito and Toby are sprinting to the battlefield, while a whole bunch of questions and emotions begin to flood his head. He soon starts to replay the message he gave to Kakashi while giving him his Sharingan, basically asking him to protect Rin forever. And of course, Kakashi says yes to his dying request because that is what he's born to do. He is a natural born protector. You know you're good when you got him on your squad, right guys? Is that not right, guys? As they get closer and closer, Toby begins to hit him with a slight roast and tells him that his hand-to-hand combat is whack, battle IQ whack, defense whack. So he advises Obito to let him handle all the fighting. But Obito is convinced that when him and Kakashi link back up on the battlefield, the power of their Sharingans reuniting will allow them to pull off elite combos which will get the job done.
Okay.
Obito is so close now that he can hear and see some of the commotion, but out of nowhere, he starts tweaking out more than me after a Marvel's Rivals loss, and now he's seeing these weird images of Rin. More anxious than ever, he decides to pick up the speed, and finally, he reaches the battlefield. But that is when he's met with the most heartbreaking sight he ever could have imagined. This man sees the back of Kevin Durant's head. I know, the nigga needs a brush. What Obito actually witnessed was Rin getting shish kebabbed by Kakashi's chidori. But not only did he just chidori her straight through her chest, this boy let the back of her head get flattened on this tough ass stone. And that is when I knew it was time to prepare myself for the worst crash out of the decade. After years of waiting to see his little fine shit, he instead sees his best friend slash the nigga he already had beef with slaughtering her in front of his eyes. The amount of rage he must be feeling right now must be indescribable. And yes, I'm well aware that Rin sacrificed herself to save the village, but look at the optics of the situation. At the end of the day, Kakashi still has his hand right through her chest. So if that was my girl, I don't care if she just blew up your house with your family still in it. Whatever transpired before will not be enough to justify this. I just watched her lifeless body crash to the ground. You had one job. If I'm Obito, Kakashi's gotta run me my shit back or somebody gon' die. Obito and Kakashi are now filled with enough trauma to give a therapist a seizure. So simultaneously, they begin to awaken their mangekyou sharingan. But I guess Kakashi was too exhausted to handle the awakening because that boy KO'd right after. But unfortunately for the hidden Miss Ninja, Obito is more awake than ever and he's ready to tear some shit up. He then cries out in a fit of rage and pushes out his wooden symbiote. But the hidden Miss Ninjas must not have picked up on the increased levels of aura radiating off of Obito's body, cause this imbecile right here tried to take him out by launching a bunch of shurikens his way. But without even looking, Obito calmly moves right through them, then yells,
I will not accept any of this!
And now he is sprinting towards them, ready to turn them into confetti. But these hard-headed ninjas are still standing their ground, talking about some
Do not mock the blood-mist village!
Nigga, I know you seen that man running with them ground-shaking Hulk-like footsteps. Put that anorexic sword away. I promise you, you're not drawing blood. Brother, who are you? The blood mist does not hold any weight around here. Matter of fact, do you want to see some real misted blood? That man calmly threw his swing, stabbed them up with his wooden symbiote, then proceeded to turn this man into a Christmas tree ornament. But the most disturbing part was, he was just getting started. He then rolls a wooden branch out of his sleeve, breaks it off, then starts walking this hidden Miss Ninja down. But in an effort to save their comrade, 3 hidden Miss Ninja come zooming in from above to try and stab him in his back. But these nincompoops must have not learned anything from the Christmas ornament's first first attack, because instead of delivering a lethal blow to Obito, they end up stabbing their own mans in the stomach. One of the hidden miss ninjas finally put 2 and 2 together, but it was too late, because Obito quickly jumped up and hit all 3 of them with a nasty spin kick, sending all 3 of them ninjas tumbling across the ground. Now, after witnessing this assassin go to work, you think that the rest of these ninjas would buck up and make wiser decisions, but instead they're talking about some,
We need to at least retrieve the girl.
are you serious right now? Forget about the mission. We need to retrieve Rin. You need to worry about retrieving your life, because I am telling you right now, as long as you're on the battlefield with this crash out, you're already dead. Obito then zooms towards the ninjas running to collect Rin, while all these ninjas swing at his body and miss. He reaches there in the blink of an eye and chucks one of his thick branches at this ninja, sending him flying back. Then he claps his hands together and activates his wood-style cutting spricks jutsu. But for the second ninja, he decides to get much more close and personal. So he rushed him and hit him with a concussion-causing right hook, kneed him into the air, grabbed him by his hair, kneed him in the face, then started beating on him like he took the last Welch's out the box. Now, they're all just watching this man beat the cranberry juice out that ninja on some Omni-Man vs. Invincible type shit, but 10 times worse. Look at the way their posture changed while watching him pulverize this man, and peep how they gasped and took some steps back once he looked their way. No, 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 do not try and hide in the mist now. Show me some of that fury your boy said y'all had a minute ago. Obito, without an ounce of regard for human life left in his body, gets up, stares them all down, then proceeds to slice and dice these ninjas to the point the moon turned red from all the bloodshed. After what felt like hours of listening to blood-curdling screams, the camera finally panned down to a terrain drenched in blood, and that was when Obito delivers one of the most short yet chilling monologues in all of Naruto.
I get it. I see now. I am in hell.
And with that final eerie message, the match came to an end. Some experiences in life turn you from a boy into a man, but this dude right here just went from a boy to a straight demon. There is no rating. There is no final thoughts. What you just witnessed was the objective definition of a massacre.
I don't really wanna know. Shorty telling me her name. I don't really wanna know. Had to wake up, go to work. I ain't really wanna go. God be with me on my side. He be with me on the low.